Olive is an ostrich. She lives with her family in the outback. But Olive is very different. Olive's dad loves to run. Olive isn't a fast runner. Olive's mum enjoys laying huge eggs. Olive doesn't like the look of that at all. Olive's little brother pecks at the ground to find tasty roots to eat. Pecking at the ground makes Olive sneeze. But Olive has an incredible imagination. So while the rest of her family are running, pecking and laying eggs, Olive can be found imagining herself going on amazing adventures when she buries her head down, down into the sand. Until she popped up somewhere new. It was a place covered in soft yellow sand, and it was next to a glistening blue sea.
It's a lovely sandy beach.
Olive looked down and saw she was wearing flippers. She tried to walk but fell flat on her beak.
Don't worry, little ostrich,
boomed a loud voice.
I'll save you.
A strong-looking horse helped Olive up. He had the shiniest mane of hair and the brightest smile she had ever seen. He wore a red jacket and spoke into a megaphone.
Hi, I'm David Hoppyhoof, beach lifeguard.
Hey, your loud voice is making me ears ring.
You'll get used to it. I'm always here, so if anybody gets into any trouble on this beach, I will rescue them.
Oh, you're a real hero.
Just doing my job.
Boomed David as he proudly combed his shiny hair. Just then, Olive heard a cry coming from the sea. 2 tigers were in trouble. Their claws had punctured their rubber dinghy.
Help! We're sinking.
David, those tigers need your help.
But David had disappeared. Olive couldn't see him anywhere. Then she noticed a very funny-looking sandcastle. Olive shook her head.
Why are you pretending to be a sandcastle, David? Those tigers need you to rescue them.
I can't.
But that's your job. You're the beach lifeguard.
I was only pretending. I've always wanted to be a lifeguard, so I borrowed this outfit. The truth is, I never rescued anyone.
David started to cry.
You see, I hate the water. It makes my hair go all frizzy.
Help! We're still sinking!
Olive spotted David's huge comb and the surfboard lying nearby.
Oh, cool. A surfboard? I think I may have an idea.
David and Olive grabbed the surfboard and using David's comb as a paddle, they paddled out and rescued the tigers.
Hooray! You're our heroes!
They paddled back to the beach. David didn't get a drop of water on his shiny hair until...
There you go, my tiger friends. Back safely on dry land.
As David lifted the tigers onto the beach, he started to wobble.
Oh.
And then he toppled backwards into the sea.
Oh, your hair looks different.
Exclaimed Olive.
I love it. It's so big and it's so bouncy. It's really beach chic.
Excuse me, came a stern voice. It belonged to an even bigger horse, who really did look like a lifeguard.
My name is Big Jim, and I am the lifeguard of this beach. What are you doing with my megaphone?
I'm sorry. I only borrowed it so I could pretend to be a lifeguard like you.
Big Jim smiled.
I think you should keep it. After seeing you bravely rescue those tigers, I think you would make a great assistant lifeguard.
Why, thank you.
Beamed David. He was thrilled. He couldn't believe his dream had finally come true.
And now you've got the perfect beach haircut as well,
said Olive. They all laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again,
said her mum.
Heck, actually, I've been helping Hoppyhoof the lifeguard.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear,
said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was in a big field. She was wearing a warm scarf and a woolly hat. She was surrounded by huge balloons with baskets underneath them. There were people inside the baskets, and everyone seemed very excited. Olive noticed a sad-looking penguin, so she went over to investigate.
Hello, my name's Olive.
She said,
Is something wrong?
Yes.
wailed the penguin.
I'm Pilot Pete. I was supposed to take part in the Great Hot Air Balloon Race today, but my teammate hasn't arrived and you can't fly a hot air balloon on your own.
Well, maybe I can help fly your hot air balloon.
Oh, thank you. That would be wonderful.
And he helped Olive climb into the basket.
Come on, hop in. Watch your feathers.
The race started. Pete fired the gas cylinders and the balloon took off, rising high into the sky. They were travelling very fast, and Olive and Pete were soon overtaking all the other balloons. They were up so high, Olive could see for miles, and the town below her was very clear.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, we're winning.
She spotted lots of houses that looked really tiny from so high up, as well as a school with children waving from the playground.
Hello.
Suddenly, disaster struck,
Oh, no.
said Pete.
We're running out of gas. We haven't got enough fuel to finish the race. We'll never win now.
Olive peered over the edge of the basket. They were getting lower in the sky, and the other balloons were passing them.
What are we going to do?
Then Olive spied a factory with pictures of springs painted on the side.
A hot air balloon? Some springs? I think I may have an idea.
Said Olive, pointing at the factory.
Can we land over there?
Pete landed the balloon in front of the spring factory, and a man wearing a suit came out to meet them.
Hello,
Said the man.
I'm factory manager. Can I help you?
Do you have any spare springs that we could have?
Asked Olive.
Ah, yes. You see these old springs? You can help yourself.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Olive collected 4 big springs and attached them to the bottom of the basket. Then she climbed back into the basket and jumped up and down to make the balloon spring into the air.
Oh, what are you doing?
Olive and Pete bounced high into the sky and flew over the countryside, each bounce taking them higher and higher. And soon they were overtaking all the other competitors.
Bravo, Olive.
Shouted Pete as they finished the race in first place.
We've won.
Olive and Pete were awarded the Golden Wings trophy for being the fastest hot air balloonists ever.
Oh, thank you.
Cried Olive.
I might not be able to fly myself, but now at least I've got golden wings.
Everyone laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay, actually, I've been bouncing in a hot air balloon.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was in a beautiful garden on a hot summer's day. There were brightly coloured flowers everywhere, and there wasn't a cloud in the sky.
Ah, what a lovely place to be.
Suddenly, a little old lady in a large sun hat hurried past, muttering and groaning as she walked.
Oh, hello, I'm Olive. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm just so tired.
Said the lady.
My name's Mary. I've been working in my garden all morning. It's hard work keeping a garden in such fine shape, you know.
And what a fine garden it is. But don't you want to just relax and enjoy the sunshine, Mary?
Of course, but the hot sun has dried out the ground, so the flowers have no water to drink. That's why they're wilting and drooping.
Oh, I see.
I've been trying to water them all day, but my watering can has this hole in the bottom, and the tap is at the other end of the garden. By the time I reach the flowers, all the water has leaked out. Look! Apart from doing a rain dance, I'm not sure what to do.
Okay, a rain dance? What's that?
It's a special dance you do that's supposed to make it rain.
Ooh, I'm an excellent dancer. Let's give this rain dance a try.
Okay, it's worth a go.
So Olive and Mary danced around the garden trying to make it rain. They danced and danced in the hot sun until they were so tired that they couldn't dance anymore.
I'm not sure we're doing this quite right.
Panted Olive.
No, and now it's not only the flowers that are thirsty, but that I can fix.
Said Mary as she went off to get them both a drink. She soon returned carrying 2 large glasses of lemonade, each with a straw in it. Olive was so thirsty she drank it all down in one go.
Delicious.
Exclaimed Olive, feeling immediately refreshed.
If only it were this easy to help my thirsty flowers. How are we going to get the water to them?
Olive noticed the straws in their drinks.
Straws? Thirsty flowers? I think I may have an idea. Do you have any more straws, Mary?
Oh, yes, I have a whole box.
Olive took lots of straws and fixed them all together to make some really long straws that reached the whole length of the garden. She stuck one end of the straws into the ground at the base of each flower and the other end of all the straws into the tap. It was a pretty tight fit.
See? We've given all the flowers a straw so they can drink the water straight from the tap.
A wonderful idea, Olive.
Mary turned on the tap. The water started to flow along the straws.
It's working!
Cried Olive. Mary turned on the tap some more, but the extra water pushed the straws out of the tap. They flew everywhere and squirted water all over Olive and Mary.
Oh, what are we going to do now?
Just then, Olive felt a drop of water land on her beak, and then another.
It's raining!
As it rained, one by one, the wilting flowers started to stand up tall.
Oh, my little beauties look so much happier now.
Perhaps our rain dance worked after all.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I've been doing a thirsty flower rain dance.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in the middle of a huge cornfield and had a piece of straw in her beak. Said Olive, spitting it out.
Hey, I must be in the country.
Said a voice. Olive turned around to see a man made completely out of straw.
Hello there, I'm Scully the Scarecrow.
Hello, I'm Olive. What are you doing all alone in the middle of this cornfield?
I'm here to scare off all the birds so they don't eat the corn.
Said Scully sadly.
Why are you so sad about it? Looks to me like you're doing an excellent job.
Problem is, I love to spot birds and write them down in my notebook here. But because I'm a scarecrow, I scare them all away so I never spot any.
But I'm a bird. I'm an ostrich. And I don't think you're scary, Scully.
Oh, so you are. Well, I've not spotted an ostrich before. I'd love to spot some other birds too. If I could spot 10 more today, I'd be such a happy scarecrow.
The birds are scared off when they see you, Scully. So we need to hide you from the birds in some way.
Olive looked around her. There were lots of pieces of corn lying on the ground.
Lots of corn? A scarecrow to hide? I think I may have an idea.
Olive gathered up all the corn and started sticking it all over Scully and also all over her own feathers until they were both completely covered in corn.
How's this going to help me spot birds?
Scully asked.
Watch and see.
Olive and Scully walked across the cornfield until they reached a large oak tree. A little blue bird flew down and landed on one of the branches.
Oh, our blue tit!
Exclaimed Scully, writing it down in his notebook.
One bird spotted.
Said Olive.
You see, it's working. The blue tit wasn't scared of you.
This is great.
Olive and Scully walked past a hedge at the side of the field. 2 birds flew down and landed on the hedge.
That's a robin and that's a blackbird.
Said Scully, writing them down too.
2 and 3 birds spotted.
As they walked down the path, they reached a farmer's tractor sitting in the field. 3 birds flew down and landed on the tractor.
Chaffinch, sparrow, pigeon.
Cried Scully as he wrote.
4, 5, 6 birds spotted.
Then they walked down past the barn, and as they did, 4 more birds landed on the barn's roof right above them.
Crow, jackdaw, dove, magpie.
Said Scully, scribbling in his notebook.
7, 8, 9, 10 birds spotted.
Cried Olive.
Oh, thanks, Olive. With this corn disguise, I've managed to spot 10 birds today.
Olive and Scully walked back into the middle of the cornfield, but something very odd was happening. All the birds Scully had spotted were flying around above them. Then they all landed on Olive and Scully and began to eat the corn.
No, they're eating our disguises.
Soon the hungry birds had eaten away all the corn.
I suppose you're going to get scared and fly away now.
But the birds didn't move.
We're not scared of you anymore. You've given us all this nice corn to eat, so we know you're friendly.
Chirped the little robin.
Oh, now I can spot birds all day, every day.
Maybe you should call yourself Scully, but not Scary Crow.
Chuckled Olive. They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I've been helping a scarecrow spot birds.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in a shady forest. There were tall trees everywhere. In front of her was a little teddy bear. She was sitting on a picnic rug and looking glum.
Hello there, I'm Olive.
Oh, hello. I'm Gloria Honeybear. I'm having a picnic, but I'm afraid I can't offer you anything to eat.
Oh dear, that's a shame. You do seem to have plenty of food, Gloria.
Yes, I've got jam, I've got tea, I've got milk, I've got scones, butter, cream, I've got the rug, I've got cutlery, I've got cups, I've got sugar cubes, I've even got napkins, but I don't have any honey. And you can't have a picnic with no honey, not if you're a teddy bear anyway.
I see. Well, where do you usually get your honey from?
Well, I usually get my honey from the busy bees.
Said Gloria as she pointed towards a large beehive.
But today the bees have no honey.
Oh dear.
Said Olive as she walked over to the beehive.
Excuse me, busy bees. You're not looking very busy.
The bees looked exhausted.
Phew, we're just so tired.
Buzz the bees.
Every time we get back from the flowers with pollen to make our honey, we have to do this long dance to show the other bees where to go. We're just too tired afterwards to make the honey.
So what you need is a way to show the other bees how to get to the flowers without doing the directions dance.
Oh, yes, please.
Olive spotted the bowl of sugar cubes.
Some tired bees, a bowl of sugar cubes. I think I may have an idea. Gloria, do you know the way to the nearest flowers?
Yes, of course.
Olive picked up the bowl of sugar cubes. She and Gloria headed off to the flowers, and as they walked, Olive and Gloria made arrows on the ground out of sugar cubes and did a silly little bee dance just for luck. They made arrow after arrow until they reached a huge flower bed full of beautiful flowers. They quickly hurried back to the hive.
Okay, busy bees. Just follow the sugar arrows to find your way to the flowers without doing the directions dance. And when you get back with the pollen, you can make the honey and give some to Gloria for her picnic.
Hooray! Thanks, Olive.
So the bees all buzzed off to the flowers using the sugary arrows to find their way. They collected loads and loads of pollen, flew back to the hive and got to work making honey. Gloria gave the bees her empty honey jar.
Would you busy bees mind filling this for me, please? No problem.
And they filled Gloria's jar full of sweet-tasting honey.
We hope it tastes good.
Now you can finally enjoy your lovely picnic.
Yes, I've got jam, I've got tea, I've got milk, I've got scones, I've got butter, I've got cream, I've got the rug, cutlery, I've got cups, napkins, I've got a huge jar of yummy honey. But now I don't have any sugar cubes, and you can't have a picnic without sugar cubes to put in the tea.
You're in luck then. I have 2 cubes left, one for each of our cups of tea.
Olive threw the sugar cubes into their cups. She poured in the milk and tea, while Gloria spread butter and honey and cream and jam all over the scones. They had the tastiest picnic ever, and afterwards they did the silly bee dance once more. The bees were so happy they joined in too.
Oh, thank you, Olive. You've been the busiest bee of all.
Chuckled Gloria. They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Gurk, actually, I've been helping busy bees make honey.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing on a huge green lawn. She was wearing a little hat and a red, white and blue scarf. On the scarf was a little metal brooch. Olive looked up. There was a huge pointy tower in front of her. It looked just like her brooch.
Oh, that's a very tall tower.
It was a wonderful sunny day and lots of tourists were happily strolling around. But there was also a snail sitting all alone and looking rather sad.
Excuse me, can you tell me what this beautiful tower is? It's so tall.
The snail looked surprised.
Don't you know? This is the famous Eiffel Tower.
It's beautiful. I'm Olive. What's your name?
I'm Michel Michisson.
Nice to meet you, Michelle. Why do you look so sad?
Well, I want to climb to the top of the Eiffel Tower to see the Hall of Paris. I have tried many times, but I am so slow that I will never make it before the sun sets. They say it is magnifique. It is my dream.
Olive looked around and saw a clown who was giving out big balloons to the children passing by. The clown accidentally let go of one of the balloons and it floated off into the sky.
Some big balloons that float up into the sky. I think I may have an idea. Excuse me,
Said Olive to the clown.
I wondered if you could help me put a smile on someone's face.
Of course, I am a clown. That's what we do.
Can I borrow a balloon, please?
The clown nodded. Olive took a big red balloon from the clown and tied it around Michelle. But nothing happened.
What are you doing, Olive?
Asked Michelle, confused.
You'll see. Can I borrow another balloon, please?
This time the clown passed a big blue balloon to Olive, who tied that to the snail too. Still, nothing happened.
Oh, you're heavier than you look, Michelle. I think I'm going to need to borrow all those balloons, please.
The clown gave Olive the rest of the balloons, and she tied them all over Michelle and quickly hopped onto his back as he started to lift off the ground.
Oh, Olive, this is amazing.
Okay, we're flying.
They floated higher and higher, passing the first floor of the Eiffel Tower, then the second floor, and finally they were as high as the Eiffel Tower itself. Michelle was thrilled.
Oh, thank you, Olive. Finally, I get to see Paris from above. There is Notre Dame, Sacré-Cœur, and the Arc de Triomphe. Everything is so amazing.
Gag, what a view.
However, after a while, Olive realised she hadn't thought about how they would get back down.
We can't float about here all day.
No. Besides, I really could do with some lunch, you know. Maybe a salad.
It was then she remembered the Eiffel Tower brooch attached to her scarf.
Oh, I know what to do.
She took the brooch off the scarf, opened it, and popped one of the balloons with the pin. Then another, then another. They started to drift slowly back down to the ground. People watching clapped and cheered as Olive and Michelle gently landed.
Thank you, Olive. You made me smile again and made my dream come true to see Paris from above. It was a marvelous adventure.
Yes, it was. I'm glad I managed to cheer you up.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Kirk, actually, I've been flying over Paris on a snail.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was in the middle of a large green field. She was wearing shorts, a red and white stripy shirt, and boots.
Oh, this grass is very long. I wonder what those big string nets are for. And what's that over there?
Olive saw a man standing by a broken-down lawn mower.
Oh, Bessie,
Said the man, sounding sad.
whatever will I do? My name'll be Mud now.
Oh, hello, Mr. Mud. My name's Olive. What's the matter?
It's the big football match today, and you must have short grass to play football, but Bessie the lawnmower here has broken down.
Is the match off then?
Asked a deep voice. Olive saw 2 cows dressed just like her.
Oh, are you here for the football?
Yes, I'm Wayne, captain of Moochester Hoospurs football team.
And I'm Gary, captain of Huddersfield United, but we can't play on grass that long.
Come on, Gary, we might as well head home for lunch. The game's off.
Good idea, Wayne. I'm hungry.
Long grass? Hungry cows? I think I may have an idea. Wayne, cows love grass, don't they?
We certainly do.
There's all the grass you can eat, right here, under your hoofs.
Oh, Olive's right.
Said Gary.
And if you can eat the lot, the grass will be short enough to play on.
The 2 captains went over to their teams and ordered a vote.
All those in favour of a free lunch say moo.
All those against say woof. Bah.
That'll do, Ryan. Lads, let's eat.
Straight lines, please.
Ready, steady, munch! These cows make very good lawn mowers.
Oh, yes. And even better, they don't break down like Bessie.
Soon, the grass was short everywhere. The pitch was perfect to play football. Mr. Mud blew his whistle and the match began. The cows charged about, bumping into each other and bouncing the ball off their heads and their bottoms.
Football's a fun game.
Then she noticed Wayne looking rather unwell.
Oh, my stomach's are full to bursting. Olive, can you play instead of me?
Well, I've never played football before, but I'll give it a go.
Olive ran onto the pitch. She was playing for Moochester Hoospurs. It was 2-2 with 1 minute to go when Moochester's goalie made a brilliant save, butting the ball right up the pitch.
Go on, Olive, it's yours!
She heard her teammates shouting. Olive was looking up at the ball, so she didn't see Gary right in front of her, and they crashed into each other.
Okay.
Olive soared up into the air and accidentally headed the ball right into the Huddersfield goal.
That's the final whistle. The score's 3-2. Moochester Hoospurs win.
Cried Wayne.
You scored the winning goal, Olive. Hey, will you stay for a celebration milkshake?
Will it be grass flavour?
Everyone laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Greg, actually, I've been playing football and I scored the winning goal.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in the middle of a huge amusement park. People were having a great time everywhere.
Greg, lots of fun things to do here.
Whoa! Suddenly something zoomed over Olive's head. She looked up to see people riding on a roller coaster. Olive thought it looked very scary.
Oh, wow. Wish I could have a go on that.
Olive looked down and saw a little hamster.
Hello, I'm Olive.
I'm Harry. I really want to ride the Mega Scream roller coaster.
The Mega Scream. I don't like the sound of that at all.
Problem is, I'm not allowed to go on it on my own. Would you like to ride the Mega Scream with me?
Olive took another look at the Mega Scream. As she did, the roller coaster cars did a loop-the-loop. Olive gulped. The Mega Scream looked really scary to her.
It does look like lots of fun, but it's very hot today. We could get sunburned so high up. Maybe we should save it for later when it's cooler.
Oh, okay then.
Olive could see how disappointed the little hamster was, and she wanted to cheer him up. Olive looked around at all the other rides.
An amusement park with lots of fun things to do. I think I may have an idea. Come on, Harry. We're going to have the most fun day ever.
Olive decided that she and Harry would try everything in the amusement park, apart from the Mega Scream, of course. They threw coconuts at the coconut shy. They had a go on the carousel.
Whoa, this is fun!
Said Olive as they went round and round. They slid down the helter-skelter.
Whee!
They even had a go on the Dodgem cars. Soon, they had tried pretty much everything in the amusement park, apart from the Mega Scream roller coaster.
Can we go on the Mega Scream now?
I'm really hungry. Why don't we get some yummy ice creams?
Oh, ice cream, my favourite.
It was Olive's favourite too. They went and bought 2 huge cones. But Olive's ice cream was so big, she couldn't see where she was walking.
Olive, shall we try this one last ride over here?
Why not?
Said Olive, not seeing what the ride was. She and Harry took their seats, and suddenly a metal bar came down over them.
What ride is this?
It's the Mega Scream. Here we go.
Before Olive could say anything, the roller coaster accelerated away. Olive and Harry went zooming and loop-the-looping all over the park.
Isn't it amazing, Olive?
I thought I'd be scared, but now I'm on it. This is the best ride ever.
Finally, the ride came to the end. Olive and Harry looked down. Their ice creams had disappeared. They looked behind them to see 2 foxes covered in ice cream.
Sorry. Our ice creams must have flown off the cones somewhere on the ride.
We rather enjoyed our surprise snack.
Said one of the foxes. Olive and Harry got off the Mega Scream.
Thanks for giving me such an amazing afternoon.
And thank you for helping me get over my fear of roller coasters.
Chuckled Olive. They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I rode the Mega Scream roller coaster.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was outside in the rain, right in the middle of a large muddy field. She was wearing a maroon-coloured shirt and was holding an umbrella to keep her dry.
Oh, I'm wearing a sports kit.
There was a goal at each end of the muddy field, and behind one of the goals there was a large tree laden with apples.
Hey, number 7.
Shouted a tall pig with a clipboard.
Hello, I'm Olive.
I'm Sean Curlytail. I coach the Richmond Hockey Hogs.
He said, pointing towards a group of pigs all wearing the same maroon kit as Olive.
And you must be our missing team member.
Oh, how exciting!
Problem is, you're not the only thing missing. Today, I forgot to bring the hockey sticks and hockey balls. We can't play hockey without them.
Olive looked at the big apple tree.
Some apples? My umbrella? I think I may have an idea.
Olive organised the team into a large pyramid with hair at the very top. Olive hooked her umbrella around a branch that had lots of apples hanging down from it. She shook the branch and all the apples fell off it and tumbled to the ground.
Oh, this is all well and good, and apples are very tasty. But how does this help us play hockey?
Well, a hockey ball is small and round like an apple. And a hockey stick is a long straight stick with a curve on the bottom. A bit like this umbrella.
Oh, brilliant idea, Olive. But to play a game of hockey, we all need a stick.
Excuse me.
Piped up a small pig.
I'm Sophie Swine, the captain of the Hogs. Why don't we have a penalty shootout? We only need 1 stick for that.
Great idea!
Said Sean, and he quickly organised the competition. Each pig would get 1 shot on goal using an apple as the ball and Olive's umbrella as the hockey stick. Sophie Swine volunteered to play in goal. Everyone took turns to shoot. Some shot too high, some shot too low. But every time, Sophie would get in the way of the apple ball and eat it, stopping it going into the goal. for wandering up the apple.
Well, you're the last player, Olive. No one has managed to get a goal yet. So if you score a goal now, then you're the winner.
Olive took a long run up. Pigs cheered and lifted Olive high into the air.
Bucket! I'm glad I won. Sophie, why didn't you save my shot?
Sorry, I would have done, but my tummy's too full of apples,
said Sophie before letting out a huge burp. They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Bucket, actually, I've been playing a wonderful game of hockey.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear,
said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in the middle of a large field with white lines painted on it. There was a net across the middle. She was wearing a little white skirt and a sun visor. Close by, two very tired-looking giraffes sat on a bench. Olive was about to walk over and talk to the giraffes when all of a sudden a ball went flying past her head. Followed by another and another.
Oh, please stop, you're going to hit me.
Sorry, man, I didn't see you there.
Olive saw a curly-haired toad wearing white shorts and holding a racket.
I'm John McIntoad, and I'm trying to train for an important match, but my training partners Virginia and Wade are too tired to play.
Oh, I'm Olive. If Virginia and Wade are too tired, maybe I can help you train.
Well, sure. Do you play tennis?
I don't even know what tennis is.
You cannot be serious. This is a tennis court. This is my tennis racket. Surely everyone knows what tennis is.
I'm afraid not. Will you teach me?
Sure, I guess I could. First you need a racket like mine. It's what you use to hit the ball.
John gave Olive a lovely pink racket from his bag.
Now you go down to that end, and when I hit the tennis ball over the net to you, you try and hit it back, okay?
Olive swung her racket a couple of times to get ready. John threw the ball high above his head and hit it over the net. It was going so fast, Olive couldn't reach it in time. John tried again and again, but each time he hit the ball so hard that Olive couldn't hit it back. Then John smashed the ball really hard. It whizzed over the net and hit Olive right on the wing, making her spin around. Into the net, feathers flying everywhere.
I've broken the net!
Exclaimed Olive. John McIntoad ran over and stuck a long strip of sticky plaster on Olive's wing.
Don't worry about the net. I hope I haven't hurt you, Olive.
Oh, no, I'm fine, John. But I'm afraid I haven't given you much tennis practice.
Olive looked around and suddenly thought of something.
Some feathers. A ball? Some sticky plasters? I think I may have an idea.
Olive picked up one of the balls and carefully started to stick feathers to the ball with the sticky plasters. Next, she asked Virginia and Wade to hold up the net.
Oh, that's a bit higher than before.
Once the net was in position, John tossed the feather-covered ball above his head and hit it over the net. With the feathers on it, the ball was now going slower and Olive could reach it. She hit the ball back this time to John.
This is what we call a rally,
said John, hitting the ball back to Olive. Olive and John hit the ball back and forth, high and low, fast and slow. They played the tennis rally all afternoon until eventually John hit the ball too low and it landed in the net.
Ugh, I think that's enough practice for one day,
said John, breathing heavily and looking exhausted.
Thanks for the game, although I'm not sure I'm really very good at tennis.
Well, you were amazing at featherball. You've invented a whole new game.
Have I? Oh, let's hope it doesn't catch on. I don't want to lose any more feathers.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay, actually, I invented a new game called Featherball.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear,
said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. She could hear some tinkly music. It was coming from a little white van that was parked nearby, and Olive could see all sorts of things inside the van.
Oh, burger! Those look tasty.
Exclaimed Olive. Olive was wearing a white overall and a special paper hat. She could hear strange grunts coming from inside the van.
Hello? Are you all right?
Asked Olive, and she reached in through the window to help. Up popped a very cold lady.
Thanks.
Shivered the lady.
I'm Millie Vanilla.
I'm Olive. Pleased to meet you. Oh, you're cold. You need to warm up.
Oh no, if I do that, my ice cream will melt, and I need it for a birthday party.
Ice cream?
Yes, it's a very tasty treat, and I don't want to boast, but my ice cream is the very best.
She reached into the freezer and scooped some ice cream into a cornet for Olive to taste.
I add a secret ingredient.
Whispered Millie, and she stuck a stick of chocolate on top. Olive licked the ice cream.
It's very tasty.
Like I said, the very best. Now I mustn't be late for the party. Would you like to help me?
Oh, yes, please.
Olive jumped into the van and they drove off. They were nearly there when Olive heard a bang. The van stopped with such a bump that all the chocolate sticks fell out of the window. Olive and Millie got out to see what was wrong. One of the tyres was completely flat.
All the air's leaked out.
But Millie was more worried about the big brown puddle on the ground.
What's worse, all my chocolate sticks have melted in the sun. What am I going to do?
At least we still have the ice cream.
But how can I get to the party with a hole in my tyre?
Olive looked through the ice cream van window and saw the cornets and cherries.
Cornets? Cherries? I think I may have an idea.
She bit the end off a cornet and stuck it in the hole in the tyre. Then she scooped up the melted chocolate and poured it in through the hole. When the tyre was full, Olive plugged the hole with a cherry.
Good as new. Thanks, Olive.
And so, with the tyre fixed, they drove to the party. The children cheered as Olive and Millie handed out ice cream cornets, but the birthday boy looked puzzled.
Where's my chocolate stick?
He asked. Millie began to sniffle.
He only likes ice cream with a chocolate stick stuck in it.
Well, never mind.
Olive told the boy.
This is the very best ice cream.
Not without the chocolate stick, it isn't.
He noticed the mended tyre.
Hey, if I can't have a chocolate stick, can I have that cherry?
Oh, not that one.
Cried Olive. But before Olive could stop him, the boy pulled the cherry out of the tyre. Chocolate sprayed out of the hole, splashing everyone and everything.
Oh, no.
Said Olive. But then she heard the birthday boy laughing.
Hey, this chocolate tastes amazing. In fact, this is the very best chocolate in the world.
Surprised, Olive and Millie tasted their ice creams. Yum!
Yum!
I don't want to boast, but he's right.
Boasted Millie.
Which makes this the very best ice cream in the world.
Everyone laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay, actually, I made the very best ice cream in the world.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing in a little village. The buildings were made entirely out of logs, and they nestled between tall green trees and snow-topped mountains. She was wearing a lovely woolly scarf.
Okay, what a beautiful place.
Just then, Olive heard a strange gurgling sound coming from behind one of the log cabins. So she went to investigate. She found a little girl sobbing into her hanky in a most peculiar way. Olive had never heard anything like it.
My name's Olive. Are you okay?
Oh, I didn't see you there. My name's Heidi High. My family own the holiday camp here, and today we're holding our famous Swiss family yodeling concert to mark the first day of the ski season.
Oh, Brigade! How exciting!
Oh, you little don't understand. There isn't any snow. Tradition says if we don't have any snow on the first day of the ski season, we won't have any snow at all, and no skiers will come to visit.
In the distance, Olive could see the beautiful snow-capped mountains, but in the village there was only the tiniest dusting of snow on the rooftops. She was about to start thinking of a way to help when she heard an announcement boom out over the loudspeakers.
Heidi, time for our last yodeling rehearsal.
That's my mum. I'd better go and practice.
Olive followed Heidi back to her family to find out what yodeling was. Then the hills erupted with sound as Heidi's family all burst into a strange song. Olive stood and listened. It was then she noticed that the dusting of snow on the rooftops had begun to quiver and shake. As Heidi and her mother hit a high note, the snow rolled off the roof and landed on the ground. Olive grinned.
Yodelers? Loudspeakers in a snow-capped mountain? I think I may have an idea. Heidi, help me collect all the loudspeakers. We're going to create a super speaker.
Olive placed them in a long line, pointing towards the snowiest peak.
Now all you need to do is yodel into here, and I'm sure your voices will shake the snow down from the mountains in no time.
Yodeloo, do you really think that'll work?
Asked Heidi.
There's only one way to find out.
And with that, they burst into song. In the distance, the snow on the mountain tops began to quiver. It looked like it was dancing as it gently started to roll down the slopes towards the village. But even though they yodeled with all their might, the snow stopped short.
Yodeloo will have to join in, Olive. We're just not loud enough.
Said Olive as she cleared her throat and prepared to sing. They yodeled and yodeled, and the gathering crowds watched with delight as the snow tripped and danced its way gently into the village, covering the entire place with a thick blanket of snow.
Oh, Olive, there's enough snow here to ski and sledge and build snowmen until springtime. Thank you.
It was no problem.
They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Actually, I've been yodeling in the Swiss Alps.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure.